2,800 years. That is how long Homer's poem waited for a film this large, and this determined to place the ancient Mediterranean on an IMAX screen. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is beautiful, technically astonishing, and emotionally sincere. It is also a very specific interpretation of Homer. Nolan keeps the Cyclops, Circe, the underworld, and the physical wonders, but pushes the gods almost completely out of the story. And that changes everything. And yes, this episode contains major spoilers for the entire film. If you have not seen it yet, sail away now and return later. I am a muse. I remember who ignored the warning. Nolan's guiding principle is selective naturalism. The monsters, magic, and land of the dead can be real. Divine intervention becomes uncertain, distant, or invisible. In Homer, Odysseus suffers because Poseidon is angry. Athena protects him. Hermes brings instructions from Zeus. The gods argue, interfere, punish, rescue, and redirect the lives of mortals. In Nolan, Odysseus suffers because of what he has done, what he remembers, and what war has made of him. Where Homer places the cosmos, Nolan places psychology. It creates a different hero. Homer's Odysseus is clever, proud, dangerous, and sometimes cruel. Nolan's is a damaged survivor carrying guilt from shore to shore. Almost every major change grows from that decision. The clearest example is a man who never appears, Palamedes. In later Greek traditions, Odysseus tries to avoid the war by pretending to be insane, plowing a beach with mismatched animals and scattering salt. Palamedes places the infant Telemachus before the plow. Odysseus turns aside, exposing the trick, and he never forgives Palamedes. Years later, he frames Palamedes for treason with a forged letter and hidden gold. The Greeks stone an innocent man to death. It reveals an Odysseus who can use intelligence not only to survive, but to destroy. Nolan removes Palamedes entirely. His Odysseus joins the war because Agamemnon is dangerous and may threaten his family if he refuses. It is a more sympathetic motive. It also washes away one of the darkest parts of the traditional hero. Nolan wants an Odysseus we can mourn with. Homer gives us one we are never fully allowed to trust. Helen is another revealing change. Ancient literature never settles the central question. Was she abducted, persuaded, enchanted, or willing? Different poets gave different answers. Some even claimed only a phantom went to Troy. That uncertainty is the point. Helen is the mystery around which everyone builds the version of the war they need. Nolan gives her a scar and presents her far more clearly as a victim of Menelaus. He also makes Helen and Clytemnestra twins, both played by Lupita Nyong'o. It elegantly connects two sisters damaged by the same war. But the scar answers a question ancient tradition preferred to leave open. The film gives Helen clarity. The myths gave her ambiguity. One edition works brilliantly, the shadow of the Bronze Age collapse. The film repeatedly mentions people coming from the sea and suggests that the old Greek world is already breaking apart. Homer does not explain the Mycenaean collapse, but the Odyssey feels like a story set after the end of a world. Odysseus returns to a palace occupied by opportunists and an island that has forgotten how authority works. Nolan turns that background feeling into history. The war is not happening before civilization falls. The war is part of the fall. The Cyclops sequence shows exactly what is lost when Nolan changes the cause of Odysseus' failure. In Homer, Odysseus tells Polyphemus that his name is nobody. After he blinds the Cyclops, Polyphemus cries that nobody is attacking him, so the other Cyclopes leave. It is a brilliant trick. Then Odysseus escapes and destroys his own victory. Safely aboard the ship, he shouts his real name back to the island because he cannot bear to let his triumph remain anonymous. Polyphemus now knows whom to curse and calls upon his father Poseidon. Odysseus is punished because his pride is stronger than his wisdom. Nolan removes the famous nobody exchange. His Cyclops barely speaks. And once Odysseus escapes, he attacks the blinded creature with an arrow in a burst of rage, costing more lives and ships. In Homer, he fails because he needs glory. In Nolan, because he loses his temper. One is tragic, the other is painfully human. A quick pause while Odysseus creates another avoidable disaster. If you're enjoying this comparison, leave a like and subscribe. I am bringing a new myth to life every day, and the gods know the algorithm needs more offerings than Olympus ever did. And tell me in the comments, which change worked best for you, and which one should Nolan have left alone? Samantha Morton's Circe is one of the film's strongest presences, but Nolan simplifies her story. In Homer, Hermes gives Odysseus the moly herb that protects him from Circe's magic. Odysseus resists her spell, negotiates with her, becomes her lover, and remains on the island for a year. Circe then becomes an ally and gives him essential instructions for the journey ahead. In the film, there is no Hermes and no moly. Odysseus survives through caution, instinct, and leverage. The caged bird revealed as Circe's transformed sister becomes part of the negotiation. The scene is memorable, but Circe becomes an obstacle rather than a dangerous figure who slowly becomes guide, host, and lover. Morton gives the character enormous depth. The script gives her much less time to use it. Nolan's most creative transformation may be Calypso. In Homer, Odysseus tells his adventures to the Phaeacians, who finally carry him home. Calypso holds him on her island until Hermes arrives with Zeus's command to release him. Nolan removes the Phaeacians and makes Calypso the listener to Odysseus' memories. He also moves the lotus into her story. In Homer, the Lotus Eaters appear in a separate episode. In the film, Calypso uses the flowers to cloud Odysseus' memory. Forgetting becomes a drug. Remembering Ithaca becomes a kind of withdrawal. It is an excellent cinematic idea. Telling the story becomes how Odysseus recovers himself. But once again, the gods disappear. No Hermes brings an order from Zeus. The universe does not release Odysseus. Memory does. The realm of the dead is extraordinary, but whom Odysseus meets there reveals Nolan's priorities. In Homer, Odysseus speaks with Achilles, the greatest warrior at Troy. Achilles offers one of the poem's most famous reflections. Glory among the dead is worth less than even a humble life among the living. It is a universal argument about heroism. Nolan replaces that encounter with Sinon, played by Elliot Page. Sinon does not come from Homer's Odyssey. His famous role comes from Virgil's Aeneid, where he helps convince the Trojans to accept the wooden horse. In the film, his ghost confronts Odysseus personally. The scene is not about the meaning of glory. It is about one man accusing another of the human cost of a lie. Homer gives us philosophy. Nolan gives us guilt. The greatest omission is an entire universe. Homer's poem opens with the gods in council. Athena argues for Odysseus. Zeus grants permission. Hermes carries commands. Poseidon obstructs the voyage. The Olympians are not decoration. They are the machinery of cause and effect. Nolan removes Zeus, Poseidon, Hermes, and almost every direct intervention. Only Athena remains, and even she may be a goddess, a vision, or the voice Odysseus has created to survive his own mind. That ambiguity changes what the Odyssey believes the world is. In Homer, nature has personality. The sea can hate you. Wisdom can stand beside you in disguise. The universe has intentions, and mortals must negotiate with them. In Nolan, the sky is mostly empty. The monster is real. The curse is trauma. Then there is Argos. In Homer, the old dog recognizes Odysseus beneath his beggar's disguise. Odysseus must keep walking. He cannot kneel, speak, or touch him without risking the plan. He hides a tear, and Argos dies after seeing his master one last time. The cruelty is restraint. The disguise keeps Odysseus alive, but costs him his final moment with the creature that loved him without question. Nolan lets Odysseus acknowledge and touch the dog, and the encounter helps Telemachus understand who the stranger really is. It is warmer. It is more openly emotional. But Homer's version hurts because the mask cannot come off. The final change is the largest. Homer's entire poem is organized around Nostos, the return home. Ithaca is not a prison. It is the reward. The sea is not freedom. It is the obstacle keeping Odysseus from the life he wants. Nolan reverses that meaning. Telemachus becomes king, while Odysseus and Penelope sail west together. The ending echoes later versions of the hero, especially Dante and Tennyson. Odysseus as the restless man who cannot remain at home, always drawn beyond the sunset. Nolan prepares the ending carefully. Early on, Penelope suggests fleeing west. Odysseus refuses. At the end, they make that journey together. Structurally, the circle closes. Philosophically, Homer's circle breaks. For Homer, the journey matters because it ends at home. For Nolan, home matters because it becomes the place they choose to leave. So, what did Nolan make? A magnificent film about trauma, memory, responsibility, and the stories civilizations tell about the violence that built them. He kept Homer's monsters, but removed most of Homer's gods. He softened Odysseus' cruelty, replaced pride with anger, turned forgetting into addiction, replaced Achilles' philosophy with Sinon's accusation, and transformed home from the destination into another shore to abandon. That does not make the film dishonest. It makes it a conversation with Homer rather than a recreation of him. Homer's Odysseus is clever enough to defeat almost anything, and proud enough to ruin his own victories. Nolan's Odysseus is a wounded man trying to survive the consequences of his choices. One is tragic, the other is human. And between them lie 2,800 years of changing ideas about what a hero is supposed to be. Those are the stories that still echo, sung by the muse. Cast in bronze,